Two, one. Hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs show. This is the Week 7 NFL show.
Woo!
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. And I just want to begin tonight's regularly scheduled programming by saying bear down. Um, for all of you, including some of the members, not the cohorts I have here today in this room, but or this virtual room, but some of our other ones who got clean swept on their picks, and I got to fill in their Commanders -4.5 with a red. Boy, that was a hell of a feeling. That was fun. Shout out Postman, shout out Lowell, shout out a lot of you guys, the Weiss brothers, Andrew specifically. Um yeah, that was a fun week 6 for me, especially since I'm leading the board at 74%. So shout out. Quick couple notes from week 6 before we dive in to some games this week. Obviously, Bears. Just wanted to say that again. Eagles skidding a little bit. Top team in the league, defending Super Bowl champs. You could say after that Denver loss, that was you're like, okay, it's your wake up. This isn't going to be perfect anymore. Kind of got their asses handed to them by pretty much a charge led by two rookies. It's Jackson Dart, guys. That's not like he's not anything crazy. You just got dick slapped by Jackson Dart and Brian Daboll. So the Eagles have some things to figure out, but we're going to talk more about that later. Spoiler on my behalf. The Chiefs did come back. In fact, Tommy, credit to you for your pick change. We were right. Vegas knew. Vegas knew, and we're seeing some controversy today over the called off touchdown on that little trick play that apparently refs got a call in from the league saying there should be a flag, but at the same time you can't throw a flag or you can't go to the league for a flag on that play. But regardless, Chiefs won that game pretty handedly, and I called it. I mean, I feel like the Lions need a little bit of a wake up. It wasn't going to be perfect for them forever, and they didn't look bad. Like they didn't look horrible. Brian Branch, I mean, that's just Bush League. There's no room for that in our game today. And I hope he learns from it, and I hope he sits on the sidelines and thinks about his actions.
Giving them 3 games, which is seems like a lot.
Whoa, whoa! I thought it was one.
I think it's 3.
We'll go back and fact check that. I thought it was one when I saw it, but
I thought I heard 3, but
I saw one among like pending appeal, but I could be wrong. Jamie, go ahead and fact check that for us.
I got it.
But yeah,
That was 1 game. I was misled.
it was one. Okay, yeah, but nevertheless, the um the Chiefs. I wouldn't say they're back just yet. Still 2-3, but hey, or no, 3-3 now. But yeah, that's a good bounce back for them. So they'll be climbing
They
up
were
every.
never they were never gone.
They were
Like,
never
yeah,
gone. They were
they
never
lost
gone.
some games they should have won, but like we said it at the time too. It's like they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna make playoffs. They'll probably win the division because the Chargers are still the Chargers, Broncos still Broncos, Raiders are butt cheeks. And if they don't win the division and they have to be, a wild card team, nobody like whoever wins the AFC South, Colts, Jags, whatever, Steelers, if we win the AFC North, nobody wants to play the Chiefs in the wild card round. So
Yeah, I don't think anyone's taken away any stock from the Chiefs playing on the road. But yeah, we all knew it was going to happen. It was pretty much a matter of when. Like, all right, unless they fall to like 1-5, 1-6, then like okay, you can get worried. But it's like it was going to turn at some point, and I don't think you can call much about that game a fluke. The Lions are a good team. They didn't like completely shit the bed, but the Chiefs just came out and were better. So you saw Travis Kelce get going again. That happens with him every fucking year. We always say in the week one show when we pick a Chiefs game, inevitably like, oh, well, is Travis Kelce washed now? And then for the first month, he drags everyone along thinking, yeah, he is. He's not. It's the same old shit every year. But unless anyone else has any week 6 notes to add, I know Nixon was in the building for the Ravens
yeah,
after his long rant last week that they obviously did not listen to.
No, no. It's just bleak and bad. Bye week came at a great time. Guys are gonna get healthy, and we'll see what the back end of the year is. But at this point, you know, unless a miracle happens and we, finish the year on a crazy winning streak, there's actually a good chance where, the Ravens aren't even in the playoffs this year. And that's a crazy thought considering you go into the year as the Super Bowl favorites, I believe. Um, so yeah, it's just bad. But it could turn around. I'm not like completely, whatever, like hopeless, but there's definitely a universe where, they finish the year off, 7-3, 9-2 or something, and then, you know, get squeak in.
Yeah, I mean, they showed fight. Like after getting 40 put on you by Kansas City and Houston back-to-back
Yeah,
weeks,
they showed fight. They
only
did.
losing by whatever 14 to the Rams. I thought it was gonna be more than that.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
we'll let them.
that might have just been you being in the building, to be honest. They saw you and
Yeah.
like, I gotta
They're
approach
like,
set.
we got to tighten the fuck up.
It's time to fight. But yeah, we'll get back to more Ravens, especially next week, considering there's I'll tell the viewer there's probably a good chance we're gonna be picking Bears Ravens next week. Um, so we'll get more into that, but
Rivalry game.
right, that will be a rivalry game, so we'll go in deep to that. Shout out Drake May for Kobe. But otherwise,
Shout out the Unk Bowl happening tonight, probably today, by the time you're watching this at home.
or
Uh,
last night, I'm gonna go ahead and give a score prediction for that. I'm gonna say it's gonna end 17-13 Bengals, because that is
yeah.
such a Steelers game to lose.
It is. I have a bad feeling about it, but I also had a bad feeling about the Browns game, to be honest. But Joey Flacco still slinging that pill does make me a little concerned. Would have much rather it been a Jake Browning game. Talked to Tone earlier today, and he's fully convinced that we're going to lose. But that's Steelers
That's every
football.
week. Tone thinks
That,
you guys
that's
are going to
that's
lose every
typical
week.
for Tone.
Yeah, that's Tone football. He's the biggest Steelers hater on planet Earth. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, hey, number one in the division. Sorry, Nixon. Hate injuries, but can only play who's in front of you. 4-1.
Hey, I
All
can't.
right, well, week 6, there you have it, just wrapped up from the fellas. We'll kick it off. We got a London game again. I think this is like the however many weeks in a row that there's been a Europe game, but 9:30 a.m. Eastern, bright and early. Rams at Jaguars. Considering the Jaguars might as well have their own stadium in London right now. Rams are 2.5 point favorites. Status of Puka Nacua is uncertain. Before we go into that, and then total 44.5. Tommy, what do we got?
All right, I've gone back and forth. I have already submitted my pick, but I have gone back and forth about potentially switching it. Um, Obviously, we'll just go over the quick bullet points of this game. Rams didn't look great last week against maybe the worst defense in the NFL. Sorry, Nixon. Um, is Puka going to play? Probably not. I wouldn't rush him back for this. You need him long term. If they're a contending team, they need to make sure that he's healthy. Um, but like, are the Jaguars legit? Like, can they be a real team? Like, yeah, they beat the Chiefs on Monday night. Thrilling game. But like, I don't know if I love them. If you want to go by like the principle of like, oh, well, this team beat this team, so that means they're better than that team when they play that team, like, which doesn't really, you can't do that anymore at this point in the year. Um, Jaguars lost to the Seahawks last week. I believe the Rams beat the Seahawks. So there's that. I forget what that principle is called. Something principle. Um, Transitive property, maybe. It's been a few years since I've been in those type of classes, but um, point being, it's between two teams that I'm not really sure yet, I'm gonna go with the one that's proven that they can do it in the past. I'm going with the Rams -2.5. Maybe it's a 2-2 Atwell legacy game. I think I don't want to put it on my card because I'm kind of rising up in the rankings right now, so I can't really get too frisky. But 2-2 Atwell anytime touchdown might be a good bet. Um, I don't like the total either. This is a weird game also just because it's like Rams are in LA. To fly to London, that's basically halfway across the world. So it's a long flight. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Should be a fun game. I'm probably not gonna watch it because it's gonna be at 6 a.m. Montana time. But I'll be excited to watch the highlights when they cut to that at the halftime of the 1 p.m. / 11 a.m. games of Red Zone. But Rams -2.5.
Yeah, I'll follow you there. And I'm a little nervous because a lot of the group is on Rams. I am as well. I'm kind of with you there. I don't really want to touch the total. I was thinking under, if anything, especially since I think McVay, for the most part, is really going to lean on the run game, especially if Puka's out. And even if he's in, I think that's going to be kind of a limited rep kind of thing, limited touches. They're not going to really push him 100%. But 44 and a half these days in the NFL with what you see, I thought about a first halfer here, but I think he was set at like 19 and a half, something like that, which like you go 14-7, that cooks it for you, which is always very possible. But yeah, I mean, I think non data wise, non analytic wise, the Jaguars I feel like are at a point where the honeymoon phase is over for Liam Cohen, and they're starting to, I wouldn't say get figured out as much. Like Mike McDonald is a really good coach, who really had a grasp on their offense last week. As Seattle held them to what, like 6-10, something like that. Um, I think the Rams are a very well coached team. I think their defense is aggressive. I don't think it's necessarily as good or as well schemed as Seattle's. But at the same time, I feel like they're going to do everything they can to hold their playmakers in check, especially guys like Brian Thomas Jr., who has had sort of a resurgence lately. And I don't know, something about the vibes. It's like they're going to come down from earth a little bit. It's going to take them a couple weeks to get back to it. I don't think the Jags are a bad team, and I think they're going to be in the wild card mix come around. Although in that division, although I guess the Colts are running away with it, but you never know. But I think they'll be in the mix come December, January. I just like the Rams here. I think McVay's really pumped about having like a 22-hour flight. He's going to be full of energy on that 787, and he's probably treating it like a Super Bowl, which I, as a 4-2 team, I really don't see the reason for. But go off, King. I think it's going to be a big Kyron Williams game too. But I'll leave that at that. Go Rams. Rams minus 2.5. Field goal should do it.
Yeah, so I don't care if it's London, if it's America, if it's Bikini Bottom, if it's the cellar under Sam's house he doesn't tell anyone about. The
Mm.
Rams are a better football team than the Jaguars in any country, any state, doesn't matter where it's at. The Rams are a way better football team than the Jaguars. The Jaguars won a couple games playing like the Panthers and the local Jacksonville YMCA. Then they accidentally beat the Chiefs where Patrick Mahomes, he threw a terrible 99-yard pick six. And Trevor Lawrence literally fell on the last play of the game trying to lose, like literally trying to lose, and somehow got up and scored. Kind of a, interesting, not an interesting win. Like all wins are wins, but like not something nobody watched that game and they're like, Jaguars are here. They're not here. The Rams are going to easily outcoach them. Rookie head coach versus Sean McVay, one of the best in the game. Um, I don't know how that's going to match up. Matthew Stafford, I don't care. It doesn't matter who his receivers are, whether Tutu Atwell, that guy's going to sling the rock. And if you're his first target, you're going to get 27 targets by the end of the second quarter. And yeah, I mean, Jacksonville's had a good year. Them being better. I said this last year on the pod. Like, I feel like people mistake getting better for being good. Like the Jaguars are a way better football team than they were last year, way scarier. But that doesn't mean that they're good, they're a contender, then they're better than the provenly good Los Angeles Rams. They're just getting better. And that improvement looks really good. But I think when you go up against a team with the Rams who have a solid defense, one of the best offensive schemes in the game, I just don't see that matches up, whether it's in Italy, Rome, or Venezuela. And I'm also going to take the over. I know a lot of people think this is an under game, but let's be real. The Jacksonville, this is like a home game for them. They were here for 7 weeks last year or something like that. Like not really. There was like 2 games, 3 games, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. Jacksonville out of the U.S., it's like a home game for them. They do this. They do it 12 times a year. And I think that they've probably gone through this enough time, or at least obviously it's a different team every year, but at least a lot of the important players. UTEP just fumbled the punt to Sam Houston, and I need them to cover +7, so that's great. Um, you know, the sorry, I lost my train of thought after that. The over. Yeah, the Jags, this is a home game. I think enough of their important players like Trevor Lawrence, a lot of their main guys are used to this. Their offense is going to be rocking. And the Rams, that scheme, I know they have to go across the country, but they're an offensive powerhouse. And when you're an offensive powerhouse, when you got Kyron Williams, you got a loaded receiver room, you got Matthew Stafford, you got McVay, man, I think that offense is going to translate. So I'm going to take the over and I'm going to take the Rams.
There was a lot of great stuff said. Um, so I don't want to take too long here. But I'm not going to touch the total here because of the fact that the Jags are playing out of the country. And we all know when the Jags play out of the country, they play out of their body, right? And they play like a completely different team. It's really hard to kind of get a pulse on what Jags team is going to show up, especially considering what we've seen out of them these last couple of weeks. The Jags look like a good football team. I'm like Kobe said, they're not like a world-beating team, but they look like a team that's going to be able to contend with a lot of the top dogs in the league and at least be competitive. And they're getting guys like Travis Hunter in the mix more on the offensive side of the ball, which I like to see. Brian Thomas seems to be coming back to being Brian Thomas Jr. and not acting like I don't know what he was on the first 3 weeks of the season, but he seems to be acting like himself again. The Jags have been showing fight against, good solid football teams, primetime games. So I think that this will be another spot for the Jags to kind of show themselves. They usually play well in London. And the Rams, as you guys have already stated, they're, even without Puka, I still think they're one of the best offenses in the league. Schematically, Sean McVay ran offense, Matthew Stafford at quarterback. I know you're losing your number one receiver, but you still have guys like Tutu Atwell that could carry, not all the way the load, but he could help fill in the load. You have guys Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, the guys that you could lean on in the run game to keep the offense ahead of schedule. So I think that a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. I'm going to go with Kobe. I'm going to take the over as well. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the only note I was gonna add was about someone saying the if you're number one on Stafford's target list, you'll get 27. I mean, just the consistent like 8-step play action drop back hook in the middle. It's like you're gonna see that every other play to Tutu Atwell. But we've talked enough about London. Moving on to our I think honestly we might as well put a fucking Bucks logo on the interface of our shows is at this point.
You
Bucks
gotta
at
love,
Lions.
you gotta love the Bucks. Like they're America's team right now.
You do have
Baker's
to, yeah. I mean, they are. Baker's America's quarterback, and this is a Baker Mayfield podcast. But Bucks are visiting the Lions on Monday Night Football. Primetime Baker is the best Baker. 5.5 points for the Lions. Sorry for a little stutter there from me. 52.5 is the total. And I mean, this is just Lions game, Bucks game 101 for us. We've done it before. We are seasoned veterans. Anyone who is looking for a pick on this game, you come right here because there is no other group of individuals more experienced in picking Lions and Bucks games than these fellas. Kobe, back to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the over here because you got the second highest scoring offense in the league, the Detroit Lions, up against the sixth highest scoring offense in the league, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I don't care how many receivers are out, they can put the backup O lineman at receiver. If Baker Mayfield is out there slinging the rock, it doesn't matter. The Buccaneers have a chance to score points, and they will score points. Tez Johnson obviously showed out. They still I don't know who's going to be healthy for next week, but I know Abuka isn't. Sterling Shepard, I don't know if he's going to be healthy, but whoever's out there, they're going to absolutely they're going to play their heart out, and Baker's going to put them in position to make plays. I like the over. Lions offense. Everyone knows about the Lions offense. They had a bad week one, and since then they've bounced back. Obviously, who's on the Lions, Goff, Gibbs, Amon-Ra. That offense is electric. Jameson Williams is a 75-yard touchdown waiting to happen. And, the Bucs offense, even with Rashad White, with the backups, is still electric. I think it's the over in this game. These games over the past couple of years have actually been pretty low scoring to my surprise. But I feel like that almost means it's more likely that this might be the high scoring game. This is like the best the Bucks offense has been in a while. One of the best the Lions offense has been in a minute. So I feel like the over in this game is the play. I'm also going to take the Bucks plus 5.5. I've been riding the Bucks all year, and they have just been electric every year. There's no reason for me to think that they can't keep this in a field goal game. It's a primetime game, which have been known to be a little closer, like, pretty good game so far. Uh, and I think, Baker Mayfield, he's having his MVP like season. This is a team he's familiar with. They almost beat the Lions in the playoffs like 2 years ago. They played the Lions again last year. Like, this is a team they're familiar with, pretty much a similar roster. I think the Bucs know the game plan. They know what they have to do, because they've seen this team so many times over the last couple of years. And even though like the coaching's a little different, it's still the same team. So I think the Bucs, they're having a magical season so far. I think that continues. Baker's going to put them in great position, and yeah, I think they're going to cover the spread, and I think the over.
Listen, I mean, the Bucks are such a polarizing topic, and we obviously I can't say it enough. We talk about them so much. I mean, everyone talks about them as this like, wow, they're just crazy fun, and they're just having a great time, almost like Cinderella story ish. The Bucks are a fucking good team. Baker's a legit goddamn quarterback. I'd say he's playing the best football out of any quarterback in the league right now. There's a hot take for you, but there's a reason we continue to talk about this team. It's because they keep exceeding expectations, and boy, are they entertaining. And the Lions are the same way. I wouldn't say like the expectations are high for them, but they continue to meet those expectations and exceed them. I got to ride with the Bucks again. I've been doing it all year for the whatever 4 games we've picked of theirs, and they haven't let me down yet. 5.5, and I say this every time we do it, and the Bucks are underdogs. It's like even if this looks like it's going to get out of hand, it's like that Bucks team, and it's not just Baker, it's all of them. They play till that final whistle. They don't give up. There's no quitting them. And 52.5, you guys know I am not one to engage in very high totals. I gotta go over here. I gotta go over. I think, and I almost got really frisky and took a second half over because that's when things really start to pop. But you look at some injuries on both sides of the ball. Obviously, we talked about it before the show started, but Brian Branch, who call him whatever you want, he's important to that Detroit defense. He's a playmaker out there, and already without two corners, Baker's not afraid of getting pressured by Aiden Hutchinson, even though he's a dog. But like, he might take a couple sacks. I don't think it matters. They're gonna make plays. I think neither team is gonna give up no matter what the down and distance is. I don't like this isn't a game where it's 3rd and 14 from your own 30. Okay, you'll see a screen pass, punt, play for the next drive. No, these are two teams that fight for every single inch and go on to every single down and distance besides punts or field goals, every down and distance, every single situation in the game with we are going to score a fucking touchdown, and if we don't, we will die trying. And so that makes me feel confident in this over. Can't say it enough, but just like the Bucks haven't let us down so far, and they continue to bring entertaining games. And I speak for everyone in America, and shout out Scott, our international NFL fans, that this this is the most expected entertaining game on the range of like 1 to 10. Like this is 10 out of 10. Like this game has to be entertaining, or else it's going to be really bad for the NFL. But that's all I got for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Sam. This outside of maybe like week one Ravens Bills, I think this is the most like anticipated game you like university through NFL fans just because of what Baker has been doing in Tampa and everything we've seen out of the Lions offense. Everybody's expecting a high scoring game, and so am I. And I will also be taking the over here. And I just feel like I don't want to say it's a no-brainer. Obviously, it's any given Sunday. You never know what's going to happen. But just, alluding to what Sam's talked about again, the way that these teams play, the way that they fight for every yard. You have a guy in Baker Mayfield that is fiery. He doesn't give a fuck. He just, he goes out there and plays with so much moxie, so much swag. And you have a team on the opposite side in the Lions that is led by a guy like Dan Campbell, who's, he's biting your kneecaps off and, he's going forward on fourth down like he's playing fucking Madden every day. And it's awesome. And so I'm just going to stick with the over here because I really could see this swinging the Lions' way just because they're playing at home. And I know that it doesn't really matter with Baker and the Bucs. They played each other so often in the last couple of years. Hold on. But the Lions have been powerhouses at home. They've been scoring a lot of points at home. And I don't know outside of I'm not even gonna say the Eagles because I know the Eagles probably they put up like 30 points against the Bucs, but that was mostly on the
Yeah, I
ground.
think they had a pick six and a blocked punt go
Yeah,
for a
like
TD
there was a
too.
lot
So
of this is the best offense that the Bucs is that they've seen this year. So I think a lot of points will be scored, and same could honestly be said for the Lions. Well, I mean, yeah, honestly, in all honesty, yeah, because I would say the Ravens, but they suck. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of the things you guys have said, damn near everything. I don't need to go into my also agreeing with like Baker's awesome, blah blah blah. I love Baker. I always have loved Baker. Um, the thing that I'm like going back and forth about though is like Bucks are down a lot of weapons. Yeah, Baker can like, still make it a game, whatever. But this Lions team, I said it before the season, I think is going to be in the Super Bowl, and I still think that now. Yeah, they lost to the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to lose back-to-back games. And as much as I love the Bucks and I love Baker and all of that, like they have had some close games with teams that are bad. Like those first 3 weeks, they beat the Texans by 1 point. They barely beat the Jets as well. Which like, hey, win's a win, but when you're playing a team like the Lions as opposed to those teams, yeah, it seems like 5.5 or 4.5, whatever we have it at, is a lot of points. But like, I just feel like it's probably going to be a touchdown game. Like, I feel like right now with the lack of weapons the Bucks have, and granted, like the defense on the Lions is really banged up right now, but the Bucks defense is a little banged up as well. I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm not going to officially add lines to my card because I still feel like there's a chance that Baker makes this a field goal game, but I am going to agree with what Nixon and Sam said. I don't remember if Kobe said it too. Over. I think that the defense is being so injured right now, and like I just pulled up the Bucks schedule real quick to check this. They've given up 20 plus points in every game, 30 in half of them. So I think that there are going to be a lot of points scored, and no offense that they've played thus far is as good as the Lions, like you guys said. So points are going to be scored, and I think the Bucks will put up points too. 52.5 is a big total, but I'm not worried about it. I think points are going to be scored. So yeah, give me the over.
yeah, I think everyone can probably agree. You may be getting tired of seeing, oh, we're picking the Bucks again or whatever, but like, come on, dude, you got to be excited for this one. This is probably, I mean, there's been a lot of good primetime games this year, but I am quite excited for this one, especially since the Lions are coming off a loss. And I mean,
That Bucks Seahawks game, that was the second best game of the year. I don't think we're going to be able to beat Sunday Night Football week one between Bills and
well,
Ravens. That was like one of
yeah. And that's the thing too, is that like you can say whatever you want about someone's defense or whatever, but like so far going into Bucks games, they're like, I don't care if you have the best defense in the league, best offense in the league, whatever. We're gonna go and it's gonna be a shootout and it's gonna be a four quarter just absolute slinging it around air fest and you can like it or you don't, it's gonna happen. But and that's what makes me very excited for this one. Now, moving into the best part of the show, we got week 7 mortal locks. Nixon.
Let's go.
We're not going against the Ravens again this week, are we? Oh
No,
wait, no.
they're on.
Well, the bye could beat them, but still.
Yeah, the only team that can beat the Ravens this week is the bye. So, my Sunday's actually going to be pretty relaxing and nice this week, so I will take advantage of that. But for lock of the week from your boy, I'm going to go with the over of the Commanders and the Cowboys game. The line is set at, I believe, 54 or 55 and a half. Very, very high total. But trust me on this. There will be a shit ton of points in that game. Cowboys defense is absolutely atrocious. And
except Kyrie, except Kyrie.
except Kyrie Elam, except Kyrie Elam. But everything outside of that is atrocious. They can't stop the run. They can't cover. They can't do anything. And from I won't say the Commanders' defense is bad, but considering the level that Dak Prescott and George Pickens are playing at right now, and listen, the Dallas Cowboys have a top 5 running back in the league if you go look at the yards. That is insane to see, especially considering the level that their offense on. The Cowboys offense is an elite offense. You can say whatever you want about the team, you can say whatever you want about Jerry Jones. Dak Prescott is playing great ball. George Pickens looks awesome. I don't know the status of CD for this game. I don't know if he's playing or not, but if he is, even better. Um, their running back has been running the ball pretty well. So it's like I think that a lot of points will be scored in this game. And it's going to be a shootout between Jaden Daniels and Dak Prescott. And I think even if you get the line at 55, I still think take the over. That's my lock of the week.
I don't know for sure, but I think like I very well think that could be the highest total set this year. At least from like a couple days before pregame basis. So I love that pick. That's absolutely fucking electric that you're taking a 55 and a half over. But I mean that is it's fair with the way both those defenses are playing, Cowboys especially. And I hope you're right because that'll be very entertaining 4 o'clock game if you're right. I'm going with more of a vibes pick. For me, I talked about it earlier in our recap how the Eagles could be flailing. I think the Eagles will be flying this week in Minnesota. I have seen on
Some elite
whatever.
word, some elite wordplay right there by you, Sam.
Thank you. I had a good one last week too, with a good transition. But I mean, hey, that's the kind of content you're getting when you're listening to me. I'm gonna go Eagles -1.5 against the Vikings. I think the Vikings home field advantage gives them a couple points swing here. I think that the Eagles are getting a little underplayed because of their recent struggles. I think the Eagles are a very well coached team, and I think the Eagles are a very hated on team for the very calm and nonchalant demeanor that comes along with shitty play from Jalen Hurts. And I think it's very off-putting to a lot of people, but I still think the Eagles are a very good team. I've seen some murmurs of a JJ McCarthy comeback, possibly. I don't think that's happening. It could happen. If it does happen, this lot goes from like 1 bolt to 4 bolts because that guy fucking sucks. Um, but yeah, I think the Eagles are going to get back on track this week. I think the they've got a good structure in place. They've had some success early, tough division they play in. And they've fought along. They should be 2-3 right now, but we're past that. The Eagles are a better football team. I think it's going to be a get right game for them. I think Saquon's going to have a day, considering the violent pass rush techniques and whatever the hell Brian Flores and his sick twisted mind come up with. So look out for that. I take Saquon touchdown, but I think it's probably private or minus money. That's all I've got. I mean, not much else to say. I saw it on the 1 o'clocks, and I'm just thinking this one ends with a pretty handled Eagles win.
Solid.
Kobe,
Go.
what do we got?
All right, so just like how the Buccaneers this year, I've been kind of with them, rooting for them, picking them when we got them. Another team I've been a big advocate for is the Seattle Seahawks. Now the Seattle Seahawks play on Monday night, if I'm not mistaken, prime time, as they deserve to be, against the Houston Texans. Sorry, I forgot for a second. They're -3. I think, as we saw in that game with Baker, yes, the Bucs won, but there was a lot to love from the Seahawks that game. JSN has been a top 5 receiver this year. If you don't think so, you're not watching ball. JSN has been electric. He's got his deep game down. Obviously, he's always been fire in the short game, the intermediate routes. Sam Darnold is slinging the rock. A lot of people were like, oh, he's not going to have McConnell. He's not going to have the same weapons, the same whatever. He doesn't care. He is slinging the rock at an unhealthy rate. You would think he works for Pablo Escobar the way he's slinging rock right now. Also, you got healthy Canine. You got a great receiver, a very underrated receiving core over there. Everyone from like rookie Troy Horton from Colorado State making plays. You got people like Cooper Cup making plays. You got Elijah Arroyo. What's the other tight end's name? AJ Barner's even out here making plays. That
But my boy
offense,
Bobo.
Jake Bobo, another guy making plays. Like they just seem like a bought in team. Like they believe their offense has been electric and their defense has been really good. Their defense has kind of been a problem ever since the Legion of Boom. But their defense is honestly solid. It's a solid all around defense. They got players everywhere in the secondary. Like they got Tyreek Woolen, they got Kobe Bryant, they got some guys on the D line. So I think the Texans have struggled. I think if the Seahawks can get pressure on CJ Stroud, which literally most middle schools probably can do with the Texans offensive line, um, CJ's going to have a tough game. I love CJ Stroud. I'm a big believer in the Texans, but with that offensive line, I just feel like it's going to be hard. They've had like a top defense this year. I will say their defenses look good, which is the reason they've been able to stay in so many games, uh, aside from their offensive struggles. But I think this Seahawks offense, man, I don't know if it's like how you guys were saying about the Buccaneers. Baker doesn't care. You're the number one defense. You're number 32. He's going in there and slinging it. Sam Darnold's the same way. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if you're number one. I think the Seahawks. I think they're just a better team right now, and I think they've been hot. I think they showed it against the Bucs and against all their games. And who they just beat the Jaguars last week, I want to say. Um,
Yeah, this weekend beat the Jaguars.
yeah, they beat the Jags. I remember I saw they were +1. I think I took them as my lock last week too. Seahawks +1. So I'm riding with them again. Listen, this is when you want to listen to me because so far I'm struggling a little bit. I'm like right under 50%. I'm at like 46, 48%. With the games that we have to pick, sometimes it's hard. I've been struggling, but I've only missed one lock, and it was the first week when I wasn't on the show. My locks have been so I'm 4-1, whatever it is, however many weeks we're in the season. I got one miss. The locks of where I've been hitting. When I get to scour the board and find one play that's going to make you money, I have been on fire so far. Seahawks -3, prime time against the Houston Texans. They're going to send the dogs at CJ Stroud. I would take it. I would probably take this maybe -6.5. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown. So give me Sam Darnold.
I don't hate that pick. I like that a lot, actually.
I
might throw
don't
that in
mind
a
that
parlay.
either. Good analysis too, and I
I'll throw
mean
that shit in a
you're
parlay.
not wrong. Like, dude, leave it to the experts. It's like we call it the best part of the show for a reason. You have, for today's purposes, four of the sharpest minds in the industry who have hours to look at this board and give you the best possible pick. So I mean, why are you not paying attention? But I also wanted to add one quick note in about you said Seahawks defense. I mentioned it earlier little nitpicky nerdy thing that I noticed, like an eye test thing, very casual viewership sort of thing. The defensive coordinators or defensive callers, play callers, who have the smallest call sheets, like the guys who literally look like they're holding up a post-it note. Mike McDonald, when he was in Baltimore, at least he's a head coach now, so he's got a lot of other notes with him. Brian Flores, Dennis Allen, uh, really
Matt
small call
Franklin.
sheets. They don't need all that information on there. They know their fellas and they're spinning shit up.
Yeah,
That's how
because they're
you
like,
know. That's how you know
fucking
the
blitz the
blitzes.
fucking quarter.
Yeah, that's how you know those blitzes are going to be exotic. Because you see Brian Flores zoomed in and he's got that little fucking card and it probably has like two words on there. It's like, kill him. Just kill him. And he's just yelling and they're like, you're running this, and this. And if you don't, you're fucked. Go and kill this quarterback. But yeah, that's just a little note I have. But Tommy, finish us off with locks.
Yeah, you might not like it, but this guy played really good last week. He's a ball spinner. He might not have done the best in the post-game press conference calling out his teammates, but apparently that was the only way he could get the message across. That's not what I'm here to talk about, though. He is a dog this week against the Cleveland Browns. I just watched Cleveland Browns play football last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not a good football team. Their defense is supposed to be really good. They let Aaron Rodgers with only one wide receiver tear him up. Um, I really don't think that the Dolphins are a good football team either, but they should have beat the Chargers last week. They scored with less than a minute left to win the game, and then their defense gave up that really long play to Ladd. But that wasn't Tua's fault. I think Tua's going to find a way. If it's Tua versus Dylan Gabriel, and Tua's, got all his teammates probably pissed off at him this week, he's going to go out there and sling the pill. So I just looked at the board, like you said, Sam. hours scanning that board, and I'm like, Dolphins just played really good football last week. They've been playing under expectations. Mike McDaniel is one loss away from the Browns from getting fired. I think they're going to win this game outright, plus 2.5. It's a really weird number for me. Also, Defense Player of the Year, Myles Garrett was didn't play football last week, I guess. I guess he forgot that he was going against TJ Watt. But anyways, I think that the Dolphins are going to win this game outright. I don't love the Dolphins. Probably won't pick the Dolphins again going forward. But if against Browns as a dog, I'm going to take Dolphins. Plus 2.5.
Shout out to the Dolphins for being so ass that the Browns are fucking favorites.
Yeah, I mean that is bold. You came in there. You came in there with such conviction. You made it seem like the Dolphins are a 4-2 team right now.
They're better than the Cleveland Browns. I would take
That's fair enough.
I would take the Saints. I would take whoever. Take your pick of who the worst team in the league is. I'm taking them over the Browns right now.
What if Shadur was announced the starter? Would you have the same pick?
He's not solving the problems. They've got way.
All right, that's a fair answer. I was gonna say you're on thin ice there. You had a couple options that were gonna get you canceled, but that's a fair option. There's a lot of problems, and
Yeah.
shout out Stefanski and Mike McDaniel, who will be fucking unreal play callers for contenders next year.
Stefanski's not the problem either. Like if they fire Stefanski, it's like, yeah, what you think you're going to be better with this roster if you get rid of one of the best coaches in the league? Like Stefanski could be the head coach of Penn State next year, and watch out for that.
Fuck. That
Stefanski.
that would be something. I mean, McDaniel's going to be calling plays for Houston next year, and that offense is going to be unreal.
McDaniel's going to be calling plays for Houston.
He's going to be calling plays somewhere. It's just not going to be Miami. I think the drug kingpin act has blown over to and that's what like Tommy, like this is that is golden content. I don't know how you and yourself believe that, but hey, that's what this is all about. And if that hits, you'll look like a genius. If it doesn't, you'll look like an idiot. And we will be rehashing that next week. But thank you everyone for following along. Fun show today. Like and subscribe. Cole Kmet, I'm on your ass hard, dude. Let's get this going here. Ben Johnson too. Open invite.
Cole Kmet had a good game against the Commanders. That was one of his better games, I'd say.
Blocking wise or catching?
I remember he had one really good play, and I was like, damn, he's back on the list.
That's how a lot of Cole Kmet games go. You're like, God damn, that guy's good. Why don't they get him the ball more? And you don't see him again for like 3 quarters. But we do like Cole Kmet. This is a pro Cole Kmet podcast. So we'll leave you with that. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. And yeah, enjoy it. We're hopefully getting some audio platforms out here soon. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we're that's in the works. Also, we're starting this week. We're more than a quarter or more than a third of the way through football season.
Yeah,
so let's
don't take it for granted. Don't be
appreciate
spoiled.
ball while we have it.
Yeah.
Even when you're out there watching Cooper Rush flying across the Eastern Seaboard to go watch Cooper Rush play, appreciate ball.
Don't be planning travel on your Sundays and Saturdays. Just fucking sit down and watch ball. All right. Like and subscribe.